During these videos, I haven't been shy about what I do for fun. I read, I paint, I exercise, I walk. These don't stem from nowhere. Some of these I pay for with my own money, others through my tax dollars. They make life healthier, fuller. I am a better person for my recreation. What about for our communities?
Our fourth example is all in recreation. Our last example covered clerks and civics. The clerk's profession is at the heart of civics, of our democratic institutions at the local level. Public records, public meetings, voting, they cover those essential, official aspects of government that allow for public awareness and public participation. To meet the challenge that clerks above all must keep their reputation of impartiality, we're equitable by being proactive. We ensure public access and outreach before the controversial issue, before the big election, before that extra bit of communication and education can be taken the wrong way. Let's turn now to a mostly lighter subject, recreation. You know, it's our parks, art, events, programs, even recreation centers. In that case, it's right there in the name. It's play, it's exercise, it's good life skills that usually are about our lives outside our jobs, though there may be some overlap with recreation and work too. We could go on and on about all the different types of recreation. We can each think of more relevant examples on our own. As government has evolved, recreation's become a core facet of public services and has been for many generations. The creation of dense urban cities dictated the need for parks and green spaces. The cost of desirable community amenities, like say a pool, means the resources usually have to be shared among several people, whether through a gym, an HOA, or even the local government. It's not unheard of for recreation departments to have more paid staff than any other, given the number of part-time and specialist roles. At the core of it all is the underlying value, the belief, the priority to make certain forms of recreation more available to the people. The specifics can and will differ across communities. What remains consistent is that we agree that some recreation is desirable to us and that our local governments have a part to play. So let's get into some of the specifics. We start with the question of who pays for recreation. Not a hypothetical. It's something we have to figure out. Do we pay for our recreation programs through a dedicated tax revenue like a special 0.5% sales tax? Do we pay for it through the general fund, those dollars that can generally go to any of our services and programs? What about fees? Make people pay in part or in whole the cost of using whatever amenities we're providing. Of course, there's also grant money. Grant money from the state, federal government, or any other entity may seem like free money, but even this usually has strings attached and requires administrative oversight to research, write, submit, and provide monitoring and evaluation. If you recall from our first example on budgeting, the funding source will determine who in our community pays a greater share of what they have. Regardless, there has to be some mechanism to pay, and someone is on the other side of the revenue stream. And just as we've looked at who participates in our public processes, we can just as easily figure out who's using our recreation services, who goes to the rec center, who runs at the park, who attends the festival. It can be as simple as a person with a clipboard, as advanced as hiring a specialized consultant group with cutting-edge marketing metrics. Who shows up? Do individuals use what we offer? Is it families? Youth? Seniors? Neither? Are what we offer predominantly found on the west side or the east side of town? Does that make a difference? And we can ask this in several variations. Who do we want to show up? Who actually shows up? How are they showing up? Recreation is a great place for the debate of what should be public versus what should be private. Now, before we get into some examples, I'll go ahead and provide the answer. The answer is it's our choice. We define this for our communities. Some recreation is valuable. Some government-funded recreation makes for better, stronger communities. What kind of recreation will differ, and we should know what we think should be at the top of our list to fund and why. How about concerts? Music can draw in big crowds, is cultural, can become a whole event unto itself with shops and food and expression. How about public art? Statues in the park, Murals on the side of buildings, galleries of local, historical, or premier works. Exercise equipment. It's a way to promote better health and can be catered to different age groups, can be outdoors or indoors. Greenery. Grass fields, trees, even decorative flowers. Having nature and beauty can liven up the community. Holidays. If a holiday isn't recreation, I don't know what is. Do we give employees the day off and/or do we pay them overtime? Which holidays? Do we make a social media post? Do we host a celebration? How much do we spend on it? And of course, just open space. Open space for people to do what they want, to not be cramped, restricted. Each of these and more are great. What do we think is best for each of our respective communities? What do different populations within our community favor depending on their backgrounds? Do they align? And if not, whose priorities do not match up with our actions? One place we can start making recreation more equitable is with our marketing. How do we communicate what's available? What mediums do we use? What languages? What's the picture we share? No image is neutral. A beautiful scene like this may captivate those of us who can drive to the Rockies for a weekend getaway. Not everyone can. Not everyone has a car and camping or other outdoor equipment. Not everyone knows about or feels welcome in these places. We start with marketing. It's not passive, it's a dialogue. If we market to a group and they're silent, we try again. If that doesn't work, we ask questions. If that doesn't work, we ask questions about the questions. We keep trying until we find answers. For the optional exercise, we turn to visuals. What are the visuals associated with our recreational activities, or really any of our services? The picture on the flyer, the architecture of the building, the decor on the walls. What do the visuals say? Does it shout a certain age range? Is it brand new or old and rusted? If you're unsure of what our visuals say, then ask the customers directly what it says to them. Up next, our final example to wrap up this section, infrastructure.